this frustration, all this frustration, who put round our eyes on a butterfly's wings? All this frustration, who gave the leopard spots and taught the birds to sing? Born of frustration, born of frustration.
Hi, welcome to another Ginger Prince production. Today I'm going to talk to you for a short while about evolution and how that evolution is a fact as well as being a theory. This is an answer to many sort of creationist arguments and creationists who argue that because evolution is just a theory, it can be and should be taught alongside any other competing theory that comes its way and can be thrown out with the trash, being a debatable crackpot theory. You see, evolution isn't just a theory, it is a scientific fact. So we'll be debating what is a fact and what is theory, and looking really at how creationists don't have a leg to stand on, considering the overwhelming evidence for evolution, which they seem to want to bury their heads under the sand in order to avoid dealing with. So yeah, evolution, theory versus fact. See, the problem is with many creationists' approach to science is that they don't really know about the philosophy of science, about what different terms mean. So when they hear that evolution is a theory, they think, oh my god, it's a theory, and all theories are just sort of thoughts and ideas and hypotheses that can be broken down easily, and they're not fact. To a degree, yes, all theories are available to the scientific community, to anyone to try and debunk using the scientific method, and they are hypotheses. However, you have to remember that every fact in the world is a theory. Gravity is a theory. It's not a fact. What we have to do is to look at the world and look at what we can establish as fact. And as René Descartes said many hundreds of years ago, the only thing that we can establish as indubitable fact, the only thing we cannot doubt is ourselves. I think, therefore I am. So really there is only one fact in the universe that you or I can prove beyond any reasonable doubt whatsoever, beyond any doubt whatsoever, and that is that we exist, that you exist, that I exist. I can't make a comment on whether you exist, but I can make a comment and a statement of fact that I exist, and that's it. Everything else is theory. The fact that my bin is over there, I would treat as a fact, but really it's a theory that I'm gauging from my senses. I'm trying to work out, what is the evidence for it, what's the evidence against it, and I would treat that as a fact, but still it's only a theory. Gravity is only a theory, but we treat it as a fact because there's overwhelming evidence for it existing. I just have to walk out of a window, top floor window, to prove that that really is a theory, that is fact. So what gives me the right to say that gravity is only a theory and not a fact? Well, that's because logically you can doubt that gravity in fact exists. It could just be pure chance that every time we've observed gravity acting, it's just been lucky that it's gone that way. But in fact, the next time I drop a spoon, it might just fly upwards. It's highly unlikely, and all the evidence points to the fact that that will never happen, but it is logically possible. So there's this kind of area, very small though it might be, of doubt that means that gravity is only a theory. It's the same with evolution. There is a massive, overwhelming amount of evidence in support of evolution. But there are areas where you could possibly logically doubt it. But pretty much every scientist worth their salt will tell you that evolution is a fact. Then it becomes an argument over where is this arbitrary line over what overwhelming evidence is. So how much evidence is overwhelming evidence? Because at the end of the day, the definition of a scientific fact is one that is supported by overwhelming evidence. So really, the scientists will argue there's overwhelming evidence to support evolution up here, just as there is gravity. And a creationist will be further down and continuing down here, saying there's very little evidence. The problem is that the creationists are just simply flatly wrong. They don't either they don't know the evidence, or they don't understand the evidence, or they deny the evidence. Because let's face it, in order to deny evolution, you have to deny biology, biochemistry, geology, human geography, genetics, geology, did I say that? Paleontology, loads of ologies. So, you know, you tell me who's more ridiculous, the person that believes in evolution because they've been presented with all these sciences right across the spectrum of science, or the person that denies all of those things in order to have a harmony of religion and no evolution in their brains. I think evolution is pretty much a science fact, and we'll just look at a couple of those facts in the next segment. I think this quote pretty much sums up exactly what I'm talking about with regards to evolution as fact against evolution as theory, and it's by H.J. Muller from 100 Years Without Darwin Are Enough. And the quote goes, "There is no sharp line between speculation, hypothesis, theory, principle and fact, but only a difference along a sliding scale in the degree of probability of the idea. When we say a thing is a fact, then we only mean that its probability is an extremely high one, so high that we are not bothered by doubt about it and are ready to act accordingly. Now, in this use of the term fact, the only proper one, evolution is a fact." Which is basically what I was talking about just then with the sliding scale. The probabilities are just enormous that evolution is a fact. I mean, you can tinker maybe with some of the smaller details and argue over a few bits and pieces here, but really the idea of evolution by natural selection is a fact. So as I said earlier, we need to look at a couple of bits of evidence. I can't fit it on the end of this video, but please look at part 2 of this video and you'll see a few bits of evidence that should point towards evolution being a fact. And at the end of the day, I don't have the time or the patience really to present all the evidence. There's so much evidence, but I just really wanted to look at a couple of tiny bits. But, you know, go to a museum, go to a library, pick up a decent book on evolution, actually be bothered to engage with it. Look at the counter arguments. If you're a creationist, look at the counter arguments to all your arguments. Everything's been answered. It's whether you want to take your head from out of the sand and actually, you know, be brave enough to engage in something which might challenge your faith. But at the end of the day, you know, most Christians that believe in evolution, theistic evolutionists, can marry the two ideas up. Now, it just means that you're going to have to say that God is responsible for evolution and that he set the dominoes in motion, knowing fully what the outcome would be at the end of evolution, and that's fine. You know, that's a lot more honest with the evidence than denying evolution full stop, which, you know, is insane. You have to deny so many established facts that you know, you would never do it in any other sort of sphere of evidence, sphere of science, sphere of existence. It's just nuts. So I don't see how you can deny it. But have a look at the next video. It's just a couple of minutes long, and thanks for tuning in. See ya.
All this frustration,